fire up your favorite game, get totally sucked in, and then bam, it's like running into
Yeah.
a wall. You try to talk to some character in the game, and it's the same robotic line, same canned responses no matter what you do. Well, get ready to say goodbye to that frustration, my friends, because things are about to change big time. We're diving headfirst into the future of gaming, and trust me, it's about to get a whole lot more interesting with AI taking center stage.
It really is amazing when you think about it, how far we've come.
For real.
Remember those old school games where the characters, the NPCs, were basically like moving cardboard cutouts?
Oh, totally. Walk into a room, they spit out their one line, and that's it.
Exactly. Back then, it was all about what they called finite state machines.
Mm.
Basically, it meant those NPCs, they could only exist in a handful of pre-programmed states, like greeting mode or quest-giving mode, and only if you did the exact right thing to trigger it. Pretty limited when you're trying to make a game world feel alive.
Yeah, for sure. And it felt like for a long time, even as games got more and more visually amazing, those NPCs, they were still stuck in their little digital boxes.
Right, and that's why this whole AI thing is such a game changer. Games are all about immersion, making us feel like we've actually stepped into another world. And for that to work, you need the characters, those NPCs, to feel like they belong in that world too.
Makes sense.
They need to be able to surprise you, react to you in a way that feels real, not just pre-scripted.
And that's where companies like NVIDIA are jumping in with some seriously next-level tech.
Right. Absolutely. The future of gaming goes really in depth on their work with NVIDIA ACE. It's all about giving NPCs the power to hold actual conversations in real time.
Wait, so no more of that feeling like you're stuck in a dialogue loop. You can actually have a back and forth, like an actual conversation with a character in the game.
You got it. Imagine you're riffing with a character in the game, bouncing ideas off each other in real time, the possibilities for how the story could unfold. Endless.
It'd be like that wall between you and the game world just kind of melts away, and you're really connecting with these characters.
Exactly. And the really cool part is that NVIDIA, they're not the only ones pushing the boundaries here. The article also talks about Ubisoft and what they're calling Neo NPCs. It's all about creating characters with these super detailed backstories, like motivations.
Yeah, I was reading about that. So it sounds like Ubisoft is really trying to move away from NPCs just feeling like quest dispensers. Instead, it's like these are actual individuals, right? With their own personalities, their own history.
Exactly. We've all played those games where it's like, okay, this character is clearly just here to give me my next task and that's it. But what if instead those characters had lives that extended way beyond just us? What if they had stories and relationships that we were just catching a glimpse of? And here's the mind-blowing part, these Neo NPCs, they can actually change. Like, they evolve based on how we interact with them as players.
Wait, seriously? So two different players could have completely different experiences with the same NPC depending on how they approach a conversation, the choices they make.
You got it. Like, think of that butterfly effect thing, chaos theory. Even the smallest choice you make could have these huge ripple effects. Like, down the line, that NPC remembers how you treated them, and it shapes how they interact with you in the future.
Talk about replay value. Knowing that the world, the characters in it, are actually going to be different based on your choices, that's insane.
It really is. And it's not just about making games feel more personal either. It's about taking interactive storytelling to a whole new level.
And while we're talking about pushing things to that next level, we got to talk about Convey. The article mentioned them too, right? They're all about making these crazy, natural, free-flowing conversations. Like, they want talking to an NPC to be as engaging as talking to your friend online.
Totally. And that's where things get really interesting on the tech side of things. All of this, the real-time responses, the personalized backstories, the natural dialogue, it takes a ridiculous amount of processing power. I'm talking AI having to analyze tons of data on the fly to make these interactions feel real.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really makes you think, like, how do you even start to build a game world where the characters are that complex, that reactive? It's got to be a massive undertaking.
It is. And the future of gaming admits there are definitely still challenges. Like right now, a lot of this advanced AI stuff, it needs to happen in the cloud, and that comes with its own issues, latency issues, bandwidth limitations.
Right, because in a fast-paced game, if that NPC lags even for a second, it's going to be super jarring.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Think about it. Just a few years ago, AI spitting out photorealistic images in seconds seemed crazy, impossible even. Now, it's everywhere. So yeah, these are challenges, but developers are on it. They're working on it. And the payoff for gamers, it's going to be huge.
Okay, so we've talked about AI changing how NPCs talk, how they interact with us. But it's not just about the dialogue, right? I mean, this tech is also being used to create entire worlds, like on the fly.
You're talking about procedural content generation?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff. Think No Man's Sky, that game with basically infinite planets to explore, that kind of scope. It wouldn't be possible without AI doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Okay, so refresh my memory. How does that even work?
So basically, the developers, they create the building blocks, the environments, the creatures, even the rules for that universe, the physics and all that. Then they unleash the AI. It takes those pieces and starts putting them together. Not randomly, though. It follows algorithms, parameters that the developers set, which keeps everything feeling, like, cohesive, believable.
So it's like the game is designing itself, but within a set of rules, so it doesn't go totally off the rails.
Exactly. And that means that every time you land on a new planet in a game like No Man's Sky, there's a real chance that no one, not even the developers, has ever seen that exact combination of stuff before. That feeling of discovery, you know, of stepping into the unknown. That's something AI is making possible, and it's something special.
That is really wild. And it's not just these massive landscapes either, right? I mean, the article mentioned Shadow of Mordor and that Nemesis system they had, where the AI created these really memorable enemies.
Yeah.
Oh man, that Nemesis system.
There's something else.
It's like the game made a whole like rivalry just for you.
Seriously.
You weren't just fighting like random bad guys.
Right.
You were building a history with them.
Yeah, or they were building one with you.
It's like that's AI doing its thing, you know,
Yeah.
creating these moments that you don't forget.
Totally.
Makes you wonder where it's all going next.
Yeah.
Both of the articles, The Future of Gaming and The Rise of AI NPCs, they both mention this idea of persistent AI.
Right.
And honestly, it kind of blows my mind.
It's a pretty wild concept when you actually start to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a world where, like, the NPCs you meet, the relationships you build,
Yeah.
the experiences you have, they're not just stuck in that one game.
Whoa.
They stay with you, they travel with you,
No way.
even across different platforms.
Wait, so you're telling me, like, I could be playing one game,
Yeah,
become best friends with, like, the blacksmith,
sure.
then load up a totally different game,
Yeah.
and that blacksmith is there. Like, they remember me from the other game.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
Think about how much cooler that would be.
That's insane.
You know, the stories you could tell.
It'd be like those worlds were all connected.
Exactly.
It's like, what even is a sequel anymore?
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
And then, on top of that, both articles talked about the metaverse.
Yeah.
It's like taking that whole persistent AI thing and dropping it into, like, the ultimate virtual world.
Absolutely. Imagine a metaverse where the MTCs, they're not just like window dressing.
Right.
They're living their lives, they're running shops. Maybe they even have their own community.
It's like a whole other society inside the computer.
Right.
And we get to choose how we fit into all that.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta admit, as cool as all this sounds,
Yeah.
part of me wonders, like, what happens when these AI characters get so real
Yeah.
that we can't even tell the difference between them and a real person?
That's the question, isn't it?
Like, is it even gaming anymore at that point?
It really makes you think about what it means to connect with something, to build a relationship,
For real.
even if that something is, you know, digital.
It's a little scary, honestly.
It's exciting, though, too, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It feels like we're on the edge of something huge.
Definitely.
A whole new era for gaming.
Couldn't agree more.
And who knows what crazy stuff developers are going to come up with next.
I'm excited to find out.
Me too. All right, well, on that note, let's hear from you. What do you think about the future of AI in gaming? Head over to social media, let us know. Use hashtag #AINPCFuture. Are you hyped about all this, or is it getting a little too real for you? Keep the conversation going. That's going to do it for this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and keep on gaming.